Welcome to this pit of the internet in which people try to make jokes and don't succeed. Hey guys, welcome back. So in today's video, I'm working on the coloring process of a digital piece that I finished a little while back. And this piece is a little more on the simple side, but I really like the way that it turned out. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you there. So today's piece is a little bit different than my other digital time lapses. And the main reason that I consider it to be different is the fact that the line art was completed by the time I actually hit record on this piece. And there's no reason for that except that I forgot. And I ended up hitting record anyways just because I liked the way that the line art turned out so much that I wanted to be able to share the coloring process with all of you. The main idea for this piece came from the concept of a portrait surrounded by hair, and that's why this girl's neck is cut off in the way that it is. And I definitely tried to put into practice some of the things that I've learned about planning pieces as opposed to jumping straight in. And I did thumbnails for this piece, and I also did color studies. And you can see me flipping back and forth between my color palette that I created. And in the end, I actually end up changing the color of the background. And I actually didn't record that because I did it at a much later date. And it's more of a purple now as opposed to the blue. And I will leave a link to prints of this piece in the description of the video so you can see what the final piece looks like. The actual coloring process of this piece is very similar to some of the things I've been doing in the past, in which I try to add more dimension and depth to the face, and I'm doing that through the use of better shadows. At least I hope that they're better. And that's another thing that I've found myself sort of slacking on. And that's the actual thought that goes into the shadows of the face and where they would actually fall from where the light source is coming from. And I find that all of my light sources tend to come from a similar place. So in the future, I definitely want to experiment with different light sources. Perhaps even some colored light sources, I think, would be an interesting challenge to experiment with. And in the end, I really like the way that this piece turns out. It's very different than some of my more complicated pieces. I didn't really want to overdo this one. I wanted to do something simple, something that was very aesthetically pleasing, but at the same time just a tiny bit weird. And I think I managed to achieve that tiny bit of weird just through the fact that her neck is cut off the way that it is. Another thing that I've been experimenting with are eye styles. And for a long time I wasn't incorporating pupils into my eyes, and I was considering that part of my style. And I liked the way that it looked, and I still like the way that I was doing it before with line hatching to sort of add to the depth of the actual iris itself. But as I've been experimenting lately, I've decided that I don't want to limit myself to things that I consider to be my style. So I have begun incorporating some pupils into the eyes that I'm already drawing, and I think it makes them look a tiny bit more interesting than they have in the past. And maybe that's just me right now. Because, as I mentioned, I don't want to become so tied down by what I consider to be my style that I refuse to allow myself to grow. So even though I like this way of drawing eyes right now, that doesn't mean that in a few months I'll feel the same way. I feel the same way about hair, because the way that I drew the hair in this piece is okay. I don't mind it, but I think that it definitely could use improvement. And I've been experimenting with some different styles of hair, and there's one method in particular that I've begun to use, in which I drew inspiration from the concept of butterfly wings and the way that they're segmented, and I ended up creating hair based on that. And I think that it adds a lot of flow to a character without actually making it so realistic that it looks strange. And I actually have a time lapse on my Instagram of a iPad drawing I did using this sort of hairstyle. And I really enjoy the process of experimenting. And this is in line with the Sketchbook Sunday video I released a few weeks ago, where I talked about how I want to get better and I want to improve, and I don't want to be comfortable with where I'm at. So I hope you were at least a little bit inspired by this short little coloring time lapse. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. That's funny, but it's probably one of those things that's only funny to me, which is a lot of things. I've also realized that the way I start videos with welcome back isn't always applicable. So I'll probably be changing that. So like, hey guys, welcome to Chaos. Welcome to Hades. I'll just say welcome back for now, but I'll think on that one. Also, this color, I really like this color on me. Like, I just realized, but it is an Invader Zim shirt, which is okay. But this is like the only shirt I have of this color. I should get more dark gray aesthetic.